Have you ever noticed how the moment you're always available, people start taking you for granted? They call, text, ask favors, and it feels like the more you give, the less they appreciate. That's not coincidence. That's human psychology. Nietzsche would tell you, value is scarcity. Availability is currency. And when you spend it too freely, you bankrupt yourself. Most people think being constantly present makes them liked, respected, or loved. Nietzsche knew the opposite. Human attention is a resource, and what is too easily obtained is never treasured. When you're always there, you train others to expect it. You teach them, this is guaranteed. And anything guaranteed is ignored, taken for granted, and eventually devalued. Think about friendships. You answer every call, every text, every favor immediately. At first, people are grateful. Then they start expecting it. Suddenly, when you're busy or don't respond, they act surprised or even frustrated. Why? Because your availability made you convenient. Convenience, in the psychology of human relationships, kills perceived value. Think about the workplace. The employee who replies to emails at 2 a.m., accepts every last-minute request, and never sets boundaries may seem dedicated at first. But soon, their colleagues and boss assume it's normal. They expect it. The workaholic who bends over backwards becomes replaceable, unappreciated, and ultimately exhausted. Scarcity, the sense that your time is precious, is what commands respect. Without it, your energy becomes invisible. Even in romantic relationships, the same rule applies. When you're always available, you create a dynamic where the other person unconsciously takes your presence for granted. You respond instantly to texts, drop everything to meet them, or agree to plans you don't even want. Eventually, the spark fades, not because affection disappears, but because scarcity is gone. Mystery is lost. Independence is gone. Value diminishes. People often miss you only when you step back, when they can no longer assume your presence. Here's a real-life example. Imagine a friend who always says yes to every invitation. Over time, their attendance loses significance. People stop making an effort. They stop valuing their company. Then, one day, the friend declines a simple request or shows up late. Suddenly, people realize the gap their absence creates. That's human psychology at work. What is scarce is respected. What is abundant is ignored. The Nietzschean lesson: stop overextending for constant recognition. Stop waiting for validation in the moment. Your presence, attention, and energy are currencies of self-worth. Spend them wisely. Withdraw strategically. Let absence speak where words would fall flat. Another example: in networking or social groups, the person who is always ready, always accommodating, always available to everyone ends up being overlooked for opportunities. Scarcity is power. When you are selective, you suddenly attract more attention, invitations, and respect, not because you are better, but because your availability is no longer assumed. Even small gestures matter. A delayed reply, a polite refusal, or prioritizing your own goals signals self-respect. People notice, even subconsciously. They start to measure how much of your attention is truly earned. Scarcity forces attention. Scarcity commands respect. Scarcity enhances power. But beware the danger. Pull back too much, and people may lose interest entirely. The art lies in balance. Availability should be measured, intentional, and strategic. Nietzsche would call this mastery over the self. Knowing when to give, when to retreat, and when to allow absence to speak louder than presence ever could. Here's a final real-world scenario. Imagine a coworker who always takes on extra tasks to please everyone. The team slowly begins to expect it. The person becomes indispensable, but ironically, powerless, because their worth is no longer noticed. It is simply taken for granted. If this person learns to set boundaries and reserve their energy for what matters most, they suddenly become influential. Their time is respected. Their decisions carry weight. The same individual who was ignored now commands attention, not through effort, but through self-regulation. The paradox is simple. By being less available, you create a presence that cannot be ignored. By saying no strategically, you create a life people want to enter, not exploit. By controlling your attention, you control your value. And by controlling your value, you control your world. Most people never realize this. They confuse availability with worth, service with power, presence with influence. Nietzsche would say, true strength is not in giving endlessly. It is in preserving yourself while others learn to respect you. Stop being too available. Protect your time. Guard your energy. Cultivate a life that is untouchable. Because people always chase what is rare, desire what is restrained, and respect what is earned. Availability kills value. Restraint builds it. Scarcity is power. Presence is influence. Absence is clarity.